One. Hi! Welcome. Hello. Welcome to Precarious Pixels. As always, I'm Tim.
I'm Interrupting Bob.
Interrupting Bob. It's good to see you, Interrupting Bob. How has your week been?
Good.
Yeah, we're recording this a little late, but we had a lot of stuff going on last week. Mainly New York Comic Con. And you know, if you've ever been to New York Comic Con, it is the craziest, fun, sensory overload you'll ever see in your life. There will be people dressed as, you know, classic Green Arrow and Overwatch and everything in between. But before we get into that, we saw a little movie called Venom.
We did.
Yes. And there's Bob coughing.
Yeah, that'll happen.
But went see the movie, open mind, a Venom movie with no Spider-Man. Just, you know, see how it went, and honestly liked it. You know, wasn't a perfect movie, but it's, you know, a great fun action movie, I thought. I think if they would have went with an R rating, it might have been a little bit better, but I get why they didn't want to, because they probably want to include a younger audience, of course. And Venom bites people's heads off, so they didn't really want to go into that. Which I don't understand, the biting the heads off thing, because I'm just like, by the end of it, they're like eating tater tots together and stuff. The biggest promotion of tater tots I've ever seen in a movie. I think they had a deal with that company. I forget the tater cock.
Orida. Is it them?
I'm pretty sure they had like a tie-in deal with them. They're like, hey, we'll have Venom eat a lot of tater tots. It's like, can we have your tater tots in this movie? Give us money. So what were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it was really solid throughout. It's not going to set the world on fire, but it's a fun movie. It's a summer movie.
Definitely.
It just came out in the wrong month.
Yeah.
I guess they were going for originally very scary. Probably with the R, it would have been scarier.
Yeah.
Which is why October 6th.
Yes.
I swear it was originally October 13th.
I think they did have like an October 13th release, but I guess for some reason they thought earlier was better for this.
But, yeah, I mean, he did a great job. The woman who was married to Heath Ledger, whose name I'm blanking on right now.
Michelle Williams.
Yes. She did a good job, too. The bad guy was solid.
Yeah.
The comedian girl who played the scientist.
Jenny Slate. She did a good job, too. Not a very big part for her, but, like, she did a good job.
Yeah, everybody in it was good at what they did. He managed to play a guy who was going slightly crazy very, very well.
Yeah. Basically, even what Venom says himself is like, you're a loser, and on my world, I'm a bit of a loser too. That's why I'm drawn to you. Like it was kind of funny, like, how self-aware it was. Like, it's like, yeah, you're a loser, but that's okay, because I'm kind of a loser too, and I think we can do some good stuff together. Like, it was weird in that respect. Like, they did some smart things where, like, after he loses his girlfriend, or fiance, I guess they were engaged.
Fiance.
He doesn't, like, they didn't make the boyfriend, like, a jerk or anything. It was very, like, he actually even was like, hey, I'm a fan of yours, and stuff. Like, that was kind of a smart thing. I have to say that was a good idea for that. Don't make the boyfriend a jerk, and then it's like, oh, automatically they're going to get back together because he treated her better or something along those lines. I think that was a smart deal on their part. They
did a lot of defying, like, genres.
Yeah, I think that was probably, like, the better thing of it. And, like, Eddie himself, I don't know if he's really a loser. I think it was more along the lines of maybe he was a little bit more self-centered, and he didn't really, like, at first he didn't, like, care about, like, what the other stuff happened. There was a part where this is going to be a very spoilery kind of review here, but he says to, or the symbiote says to him, Venom, you never apologized to her, which I thought was kind of like a good point in there. Like, he never said, sorry, what I did got you fired, got me fired, ruined our relationship and ruined our trust, kind of thing. And I thought that was kind of like an interesting take on it, like, rather than like, oh, he does something super heroic and she automatically is back with him. I think they kind of left like a good place for them to kind of like start building back the relationship if they're going to have one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts on it? Like, what was your favorite part?
Oh, my favorite part.
Yeah.
And definitely when he's when he first gets taken over by the suit and he's trying to act like normal Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
But the suit keeps making him compulsive. It's a lot like the reasons I like the second Ghost Rider movie.
Yeah.
It's very Nicolas Cage in that, where he's just losing control.
Yes. Making some choices.
It's very Nicolas Cage in real life.
Yeah. Basically. It's Nicolas, like the restaurant scene. Is that what you're thinking about, or
the restaurant scene or the hospital scene?
Yeah, that too. That was a good one. I have to say, I really like the restaurant scene because it's just so weird. It's like super weird. Of just like he's just like going crazy and talking to himself and like just eating things, and I was like, that's dead. Why would you eat something dead? And then like it's like, I'm hot. Is it hot in here? Like all that stuff, and then just submerging himself. And in like a lobster tank, and then eating live lobster. Like, that is just so much fun. I imagine he probably loved playing that. And even like the doctor, that was another thing. Like the doctor boyfriend even kind of like covered for him. It's like, oh, he's a patient of mine. He's sick, or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of like interesting too. So yeah, no, I think that was probably like a good scene, a fun scene. And any of the scenes where he's like the Venom suit is like kind of talking to him is a lot of fun.
I guess I didn't expect the Venom symbiote to have a sense of humor. I don't know why.
Yeah, that was something different. They definitely didn't go for like a super dark tone, which I know like a lot of people have criticized that.
I don't.
I think it actually made things like a little bit better and a little bit different.
Yeah, because we already had the movie with the Venom suit. In a dark tone. It was called Life.
Life?
The movie Life.
I didn't see that. The Ryan Reynolds one? And
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Right. And a bunch of other
scientists.
People. Yes.
The guy from Snatch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. Was that, like, that was one that was like
very similar.
Yeah. It starts out on a space station too, right?
Yeah.
Which is where this movie starts out on, is like a space station.
They honestly could have linked them. They could have linked those two movies. It would have been very easy.
Right. Space shuttle. Space shuttle, not a space station.
Instead of the very beginning of the movie to have landed in a forest.
Right.
If it didn't land in water.
Okay.
That's the only difference.
All right.
And then you've got that linked, and then you could say that was a Venom movie all along, and it would work. Aside from the fact that they needed 5? Spoilers, there's, 5 symbiotes?
Yeah, but I think what they said is the other ones die, right?
Well, no, at least 2 were alive.
Okay. Like,
4 were alive.
But then they died trying to bond.
In the movie, they die. During, like, halfway through and then, like, almost at the end. Mm-hmm. Because they can't bond well with certain things, and if they're left unattended, they die. Right.
Because I think there's, like, a few of them... Who bonds... Like, cause that's another thing, too, is the main villain, who's like this Elon Musk kind of guy, he ends up bonding with one and becomes Riot.
Yeah.
Which almost Riot, in a weird way, becomes Carnage. Because he kind of does the powers that Carnage has. Like, if you read, like, the Spider-Man series, like, he can make, like, solid, like, objects and spears and stuff that he can throw. Like, that's a big thing of, like, the difference between, like, Venom and Carnage is, like, Carnage can actually, like, do a little bit more with his symbiote.
Okay.
So
then that would make sense that would be... Well, no, it wouldn't, because that thing is dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spoiler.
Spoiler alert. Like I said, this is a very spoilery review. It was very good. The fights were I think like really good. The effects were done very well. I have to say, like it didn't like when you remember the effects from Spider-Man 3. Yes, emo Spider-Man. Compared to what they were in this, I have to say they were 1,000% better. Like just simple things like the suit, even like talking to him. They even did like a Lady Venom, which I thought was kind of cool, and also very strangely like she kisses him to give the symbiote back, which is almost like a weird three-way kiss that they're having. It's like Venom, her, and the symbiote are like kiss. Like, it's like a weird thing, but I'm just like, why does she need to kiss him to give it back to him? Couldn't she just like touch him and it would go back to him or something like that? It was very like interesting and strange. And the fact that she also liked the suit, like she liked having like wearing it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like I thought that was kind of an interesting thing to it too. Like she likes having Venom as well. So maybe there's something in the future where she might get her own symbiote.
It could happen.
Yeah,
maybe Venom can divide.
It could be, because I think that's what happened with the original suit, where Carnage was involved. Like Carnage was a piece of Venom that broke off and then bonded to that other guy. Which this is a big spoiler. Who shows up later? Woody Harrelson.
He does.
And he plays, I really can't remember.
Cletus Kasady.
Yes, who is Carnage, and Eddie goes to see him at like pretty much like the mid credit scene or whatever is like him like going up and being like, I'm a serial killer and blah blah blah, very Hannibal Lecter-y kind of stuff.
Yeah. Giant
red hair wig. Yeah. There was a lot of wigs in this. There was Michelle Williams was wearing a wig.
An obvious one.
Yeah, and he was definitely wearing a wig. Which now they just released the poster for Carnage, where he's looked like he has his normal like shaved head kind of look to him.
And I assume that's the poster for it.
Yeah,
it was tweeted out by the Venom movie.
Yeah, so I'm sure that's like now that it's been out for a couple weeks, they want to get people like hyped to like, hey, it's gonna happen kind of thing. And I feel like they definitely made money on it, so they're like, yeah, we're definitely going to do another one of these. And there's other characters they're going to do, like, I guess they're going to do Morbius the vampire, living vampire, like a whole bunch of that stuff. I don't know. Which was also a weird thing that they had in this. The astronaut who actually, on one of the missions, they call him Jameson, and that's John Jameson, and that's J. Jonah Jameson's son, Peter Parker's boss from Spider-Man. So it's weird that it has like that link still in there. Like they didn't have to do that, but that's what actually happens to get the Venom suit there. I'm pretty sure Jameson like crashed it, like the spaceship or whatever. Because I don't know if that happened in the comics, but it definitely that didn't happen in the comics. That definitely happened in the '90s cartoon though, which Avi Arad, the guy who produced a lot of the Spider-Man movies, he produced like those '90s cartoon shows too. So yeah. I'm sure they incorporated some of that. So I liked it. My last thoughts: I'd definitely say go see it. It's a fun movie, good action movie. If you're a fan of Venom or Spider-Man or anything like that, don't expect Spider-Man to show up. The post-credits scene is actually just like a kind of like a segment from the new Spider-Verse movie. I don't think it really has any tie into Venom, just like they were trying to do some more like promotions. But it looks good. I have to say I'm probably going to see that as well.
Yeah, Nick Cage as Spider-Man Noir.
That's right. Nick Cage. Why not?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's the perfect actor.
Yeah, and it's got Spider-Ham. Who doesn't want to see Spider-Ham?
He's perpetually moist, apparently.
Yeah, it's very weird, and you could definitely see that they used a little more cell animation look on him, which I thought was kind of funny. Like everybody kind of has their own style. Like even Spider-Man Noir is kind of like it seems like he's like black and white, like constantly.
He's constantly in shadow.
Yeah, And I'm not sure if it's strange. Like they even make reference to like the Tobey Maguire movies. So I'm like, is that Spider-Man that he meets, Miles Morales meets? Is that supposed to be Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man?
Old Toby.
Yeah, because there's definitely like a scene where they show the upside down kiss with Mary Jane, him stopping the train, kind of the same way from Spider-Man 2. So I'm just like, oh, is this supposed to be like the Tobey Spider-Man? Okay, it's weird.
It could be.
Yeah. I mean, that was a Sony movie. This is a Sony movie.
Who's voicing? Do you know who's voicing older Spider-Man?
I don't know.
Maybe it's him.
It could be. I don't think it didn't sound like Tobey Maguire.
No. But I haven't heard him in years.
That's true.
Because he disappeared.
He didn't disappear. He just does smaller movies now. He's like, I made my Spider-Man money. I'm just living off that Spider-Man 3 cash. I can just show up anywhere.
I guess he probably could.
Yeah. He's like, I made my, what was the horse movie he was in?
Seabiscuit? No. Was it Seabiscuit?
I forget. Because there was like two that came out at the same time. Like, there was one with Diane Lane.
It doesn't matter.
I have no idea. They all kind of roll into one.
It might be Seabiscuit.
Or Secretariat.
Secretariat was Diane Lane.
That was the Diane Lane one. So Seabiscuit was his. Weirdest name for a horse ever.
Yeah. Well,
they have some really weird ones. So we had gone to see Venom pretty much like the day before we were heading to New York Comic Con, and we hadn't been to New York Comic Con in many years.
That's true.
Yeah, the last time we were there, Riddick, the game, was just coming out, the second game, I think. Because they definitely had a booth there with guys dressed as from the Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah, must have been. I know the Ghostbusters game was coming out.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff.
The good one.
Yeah.
Not the one that came out 4 years ago. It was before that. Or 3 years. Because there was a recent Ghostbusters game.
Oh, there was?
Yeah, it was based on the... Not even, but it came out around the same time as the new movie.
Okay. But was it based off those characters?
No.
Okay.
That would be too easy. It was rando characters.
Oh, like random... Like
not a random teenage team. Like, it was almost the movie that they said they were going to make that they didn't make.
Okay. Was it the Extreme Ghostbusters characters?
No,
not even those characters.
Not even that.
Okay.
There was no kid in a wheelchair.
Okay. There was no goth girl. There was no...
No. It was just like random video game character design people.
That's so weird that they would even do that.
But it takes place in the universe of the new movie. And
and
it's isometric, so it plays like Gauntlet.
Really? Okay, I could kind of see how that would work a little bit, but
it's
not
bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably not that
It's really
fun.
Bad.
Oh. Is it like, was it for phone? Was it
Xbox One and PS4, man. You gotta make that money.
Did it make that money?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Because I remember the other Ghostbusters game actually had all the voice actors came back to do their own voices and stuff.
Yeah, it was
Dan
the
Aykroyd,
sequel.
Bill Murray, yeah.
It was the sequel everyone wanted. Just because they were so afraid of scaring off their fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what did they do with the original Ghostbusters game? Like, they put them on the cover, right? So,
Right.
I'm showing Tim right now. They've got the cover with like all of them there.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh my God, Harold Ramis. You know, you're not dead yet, but
Yeah,
time.
Dan Aykroyd, all those guys.
But then, you know, for the newer game, they wanted to they wanted to confuse people, so they put out a cover that implies nothing.
Okay.
And shows nobody.
Oh.
The characters are in shadow silhouettes.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's basically the Ghostbusters logo with 4 characters, and like, I'm guessing New York. It looks like New York. And it's shot from behind, and they're all silhouette, and you can see the lights from the proton packs on their backs. But and yeah, Activision. Why would you do this?
Why would they do that? Well, because money.
Yeah.
So you can see like the difference between the first game, which was also, if I recall, I think that was Atari. Sorry.
Yeah.
I shouldn't even say first game, but like their foreground, like they're there.
Yeah, like it's totally like you can see them. It looks like they use like basically it's them during the first movie, like how they looked during that. Not even like the second movie or anything.
Yeah, but then they're just like, nope, let's confuse people. So I remember getting customers at the time that it came out asking me, "Is this based on the new movie?" And I'd have to be like, "No."
No.
So it's the old guys? No.
It's nobody you've ever heard of. Nobody you've ever. Yeah.
But it takes place, I think, in the universe of the new movie.
Okay.
And it's a twin stick isometric. So it's even more like Gauntlet meets Mad TV or Smash TV.
Oh, that's really weird. Which that would be like a fun arcade version if you could do that, but not really. Like the game I remember was
not a $60 game.
Not a $60 game. Like that would be like, hey, $20, $30, that might be worth it, but not for a $60 game, no.
They also did a VR game.
Okay, I could see a VR game working better.
Called Answer the Call.
Okay.
Ghostbusters Answer the Call. And
is that where you just play as Janine and you just tell the Ghostbusters where to go?
Well, if you played as anybody, it would obviously be Thor's character.
Oh, that's right. Because that's the new one, right?
Yeah.
He's the receptionist.
He is. He's just a big old dummy.
Yep.
But no, you don't even... Like, you're a new Ghostbuster, and they did episode 1, because they made it episodic, which is always smart.
Okay.
And I don't think they ever continued.
Oh, okay.
I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they just did episode 1, and you don't even get to go and fight ghosts.
Oh, wow. That's awful.
It's like you prepping to leave the station.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought they should do one based off the cartoon show that they did.
They could do that, right?
Very easily, and I know that they had made a different enough look for the characters where they were still kind of recognized as a little bit of the movie, but they even like went a little bit further where like different hairstyles, like because they didn't want to have to pay, I guess, the actors those rights to use their likenesses. They gave them all slightly different colored jumpsuits.
Egon's hair was blonde,
and he had a giant curly thing in the front. I have no idea what that was about. Ray was like he had really short hair. Peter, they kind of gave him even more of like a weird jaw kind of thing to him. But yeah, I do remember they even like changed like the color of their jumpsuits. Like I think Peter's was like dark brown, Ray's was like a light gray. I forget what Winston's was like. I think a blue, like a lighter blue, and Egon's was like a darker blue. If I'm remembering correct, I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but it was really good. I liked it. Like they went into like some weird macabre stuff, and I was just like, can't believe this is like a kid show. Like there's a whole. I remember there was like a town where vampires and werewolves live, and there's like a vampire werewolf war and like all this weird stuff.
Yeah, Underworld.
Yep. Way before Underworld. But yeah, no, interesting. But it has nothing to do. Sorry, so we kind of got off track there. So New York Comic Con.
That happened.
Nothing to do with Ghostbusters. I don't think. Do you see anything that was Ghostbusters related?
I'm sure there was something.
I saw a cosplayer that was dressed Ghostbusters.
I think I saw action figures, like classic ones.
Yeah, based off the original actors, right?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's making money on,
the new ones.
What's her name? Kristen Wiig action figure.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think they did do an action figure series, but I don't think it. I don't think anybody really got it. But what we saw, first of all, when you go to New York Comic Con, always go early. There is like a line to kind of get in. Like they They have like security, like you have to go through all that stuff. If you're a cosplayer, you have to go through like the weapons check thing, like all that stuff. So when you first get there, after you get through security, you go in. They have a large room where everybody kind of waits in line, and then at 10 o'clock, or whenever the con opens on that day, they start like letting people through in like, smaller groups, so that just, everything doesn't get like bottlenecked and just like crazy. So if you want to get on the floor earlier, you have to be there really, really early. And they also have a separate line for people that are going to certain, I guess, like the stage events, the signing area. I think that was what that was, the second line. They kind of split the line in two. Where
it was like the stage, I know. The
stage area and stuff. Which we didn't even kind of get to that area, I don't think.
No.
So, when we first get in there, we saw... I can't even remember the first thing we saw.
It was on the way over to the left side. I know we saw Funko pretty early.
Yeah.
The statues. We saw all like the cool Batman statues.
Yeah, they were promoting the Batman Ninja, I think, the statues. Because I'm pretty sure like most of those characters were from Batman Ninja. It was like Batman as a samurai. I think there was like a poison ivy as a geisha and like all this stuff. So it was kind of cool. Like the statues looked really good. They had a giant one that had all like Batman in the middle surrounded by his villains and that kind of stuff. Like all I think it was like Catwoman and Harley Quinn and Joker and Two-Face and Clayface and Poison Ivy and everything. Penguin. Yeah, it was cool. Killer Croc. And they look very like, I guess, a little more serious looking. Like not like animated series kind of characters, but more like, a lot of detail. I don't even remember what company that was, but I think it might have been XM. That might have been them.
Okay.
Because I think it was over by Funko.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually looking. We have a map that they give you. They give you a book that kind of has a map. Which honestly, if I wish I had gotten this like the day earlier, so I could have known like all this stuff. But there were so many things and so many like booths. I can't even remember. You're so overloaded with stuff that you can't even believe like there's this much represented, and every fandom is represented. Everything. We even saw like right at the beginning there was like wrestlers, some of the old time wrestlers. Was it Jerry the King Lawler
was there?
Much shorter than I thought he was. I thought he'd be a much taller dude.
And Sting.
Sting was there. One of our people from our group went and got his autograph, waiting in line for him. And we lost him for a while.
He did get lost. He missed about a third of the first floor, or the second floor, I guess.
Right. But, he got his autograph. He's a big fan. Why not?
He's a big wrestling nerd.
Believe me, there's a lot of wrestling
admit it.
Oh, okay. But yeah, we made our way across. I think we missed like a large section on the, I guess you would call it the left side if you were going through the main doors. We definitely saw the Rooster Teeth booth area, and they have like a show coming out, or it is out now. That was, I think it had like a lot of big actors in it. Like I think like Jaden Smith is in it, like a cartoon show. I forget. It seemed like a sci-fi cartoon.
Dakota Fanning, I think Michael B. Jordan's doing a voice. It's voices,
right? Voice actors, but it was like still like some really well-known like actors, and of course they were promoting the shows they already have, like their Halo show, their Ruby, spelled weird.
Ruby,
but RWBY, yeah, which is like their anime series that they've been doing forever. If you want to do your own series, you could do just, I believe they use Daz 3D, which is a free software you can get. I'm trying to think what else there was like in that first section. Like we did see like the Sci-Fi Wire booth. We saw like they had a bus for the Heathers, the new TV show, which I was like amazed that there was like an entire bus in there and it was fully decorated, like, Heathers promotions. They had, like a few women in schoolgirl outfits, I guess, to promote the characters and stuff like that. We didn't end up going on it. I don't know what would have been on the bus. I saw like a TV maybe showing like a trailer for it or something.
Probably.
And I'm sure they probably
had push it.
I'm sure they had some giveaways. Is it Stacker? No, not Stacker.
5 Hour Energy.
5 Hour Energy. We're giving away free things. We got some free jelly beans from I forget what the vendor that was.
I don't even know.
But they were pretty good. We went through a section that had a bunch of, not Artist Alley because that came later, that had a bunch of like artists promoting like their books and stuff, like and just like selling prints of, not prints. I can't say Prince correctly.
Selling the singer Prince.
Yes. Actually, we did see somebody who had a Prince print. Actually,
yes.
A few people did.
Yeah, a lot of dead singers.
Yeah.
This year.
Like Bowie,
Prince, George Michael.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. George Michael had passed.
So did one of the people we were with.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was like, George Michael's not dead. I was like, yes, he is.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
We had a whole conversation about it when we were looking at the photos. He's like, because he couldn't figure out who it was in the photo because it's all dead people. I was like, oh, look, it's Aretha Franklin.
Right.
George Michael. And he's like, George Michael's not dead. And I was like, yes, he is. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. But yeah, that's that craziness. So you ended up getting a print and a comic from that guy. Have you checked out that guy's comic?
Not yet. Okay. I plan on it.
I believe he was from Texas. I was wearing an Austin, Texas hat, so he started kind of a conversation with me a little bit, and I was like, I wonder why he's talking to me. He's like, oh, he's from Texas. He probably thinks I am as well.
Thinks you're nice and carry a gun.
Yes. Not all Texans have guns.
Yeah, they're all pretty nice from what I've met.
Yeah, I've met quite a few Texans.
Never been stabbed by a Texan, so that's a good start.
Yep. You've been stabbed by other states?
Not yet. A lot of nice people out there.
Yeah, so we made our way through there. There was some interesting comics they were promoting in there. We went past the Marvel booth. I think we were working our way back, and we actually saw Deborah Ann Wall, Charlie Cox, and I'm trying to think who else was there. Jeff Loeb walking to like the stage area because they were about to start the Daredevil panel, and Charlie Cox not a tall guy, but Deborah Ann Wall is.
She's a giant.
She is a giant. She should have been played in Wonder Woman. She's like an Amazon. But they were making their way to the stage, and it was kind of cool to like see them just like kind of walk past us. And we didn't really stay for the Daredevil panel because it was just a mob scene at that point.
Yeah,
like there was so many people there. And then we kind of just walked around. We tried to make our way through the booth areas as well as we could and see as many things as we can. There was some interesting, I think there was a guy who was taking, older toys and repackaging them with, different, interesting, funny ideas to them.
You mean, Ewocalypse Now?
Yeah, Ewocalypse.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. It was Apocalypse Now.
But with, a crazy, messed-up-looking Ewok.
Yeah. There was, pretty much every fandom, and like I said, was represented. So, there was, we saw Star Trek people walking around. I saw, it was kind of funny. There was two Star Trek guys. I don't know if they knew each other, but one was wearing, an old uniform, and one was wearing, the new uniform, I guess. Well, newer. I guess one was original Star Trek, and one was, Next Generation. I think I saw some Star Trek Discovery people. There was Overwatch people. There was... we saw quite a few Overwatches. A lot of divas.
Overwatch is massive.
Massive. Which I think there is an Overwatch comic. I don't know which. I don't know who puts it out though.
I don't either.
I don't know if it's Dark Horse or Image.
It might be Dark Horse.
That would kind of make sense because they've lost. I can't think how many. They've lost Buffy now, and they've lost Star Wars. I think they pretty much have Hellboy as the last thing. That was another thing I guess we missed. There was the new I guess they had shown some footage from the new Hellboy movie that's been like people have been talking about. It seems like it's going to be a good movie. I'm trying to think. We all got free shirts from Chevy.
We did.
We signed our lives away, and they gave us a free shirt. I'm sure we'll be harassed forever.
Probably.
Buy a Chevy, get a free comic shirt. So we all bought cars, and we now have free shirts from it.
Free T-shirts
for the price of a car. There was the new Dragon Ball movie that is coming out, so there's like a huge. We didn't really walk over by it, but like a huge section for Dragon Ball. They had like the dragon, like a statue like over their booth and stuff. Like anything that you remember that you really like from the floor?
I really liked just going into the individual like shops people had put together. It was really cool seeing all like the different stuff they had amassed, and then the really expensive prices they had put on them.
Yes, a lot of pops.
A lot of pops. I'm a bit of a pop nerd.
Yeah, I mean Funko had a booth, but you really couldn't get to it unless you had like won a lottery, basically, or bought a ticket.
It's so exclusive to get into that. Like, it's ridiculous.
It's almost not even worth it. You waste a lot of time waiting.
And those people just resell them. They're jerks. Like,
yeah.
People who resell it, if you get into the booth and get the pop, it's awesome for you. If you're reselling it at an elevated price, you're a jerk.
Yeah, because you want to get some exclusive, probably New York Comic Con pop.
Yeah, like they had the over 9,000 Dragon Ball thing, and I'm not into Dragon Ball, so
right.
If I'd have gotten into the booth and gotten that, I would have like sold it to somebody at the base price,
right?
Or I would have just not gotten it, because like even if you get into the booth, it's not like you get the pop; you have to buy it.
Oh, okay. It's not like
it's not like you won the lottery. Here now you get the chance to buy this pop for $20.
And then some people actually you buy a ticket too, right? You can buy a ticket to the Funko booth.
No,
it's all.
I think
it's
it was all
lottery.
lottery.
All lottery.
Okay. They open up at the end of the day, like at 5 o'clock. I think they open.
Mm-hmm.
But by then, nothing's left.
Oh, so you could still like if you waited till 5.
You could have maybe walked in and seen if there was anything.
Right.
But then you're carrying around pops.
Yeah, and this comes to like another thing that at New York Comic Con, you should definitely take breaks and be prepared to take breaks. Just walking the floor in general, I had mistakenly worn uncomfortable shoes, and my feet were killing me by the end of the day. But you want to kind of like walk around and see everything. But be smart. Take breaks every so often. Go get food. Don't like go the whole day. Like don't eat, and don't eat there. That's like a big thing. The vendors at the booths might jack prices up, but the food prices for what you're getting at Comic-Con are ridiculous. Like don't go from there. You're in New York. Go out. We went to I'm trying to think
almost like a cafeteria type deal.
Yeah, I want to say it was the Gotham. Oh man,
it was only a few blocks away.
I think it was like the Gotham Square like eatery or something like that, which included like it was based a lot of different places. So you could find like if you're into vegetarian or noodles or sushi or like you run a burger, like that kind of fare, and they had some really good stuff. So we ended up going there and eating. It was a few blocks away, and we ended up seeing a lot of characters. Kind of definitely some cosplayers went there, and guys I'm sure that we're going to New York Comic Con. But yeah, it was really nice. It was, and then we continued on. We finished it up. We tried to go down every aisle we could. We definitely didn't, but it does get to the point. And another thing, you have to be ready to be bumped a lot.
Yeah,
and bump into people a lot, because it is kind of like a thing people. It's weird that bottleneck is kind of used, but people kind of like bottleneck. Like somebody will stop, and if you stop walking and aren't like kind of like to the side, that causes like all the people behind you to kind of like stop. Like there was one line that went across like the entire middle section, of Comic-Con that we kept having to like kind of walk through, like to excuse ourselves through people, and that was kind of causing problems here and there. So be ready to be, if you have any anxiety around large groups, maybe New York Comic-Con isn't for you, but you know, if you can stand being bumped a lot and maybe getting hit with a sword every so often or poked with a sword, I think you'll be okay.
Truth.
Yeah. And you ended up getting some nice stuff.
Oh yeah, man! I got my Ninja Turtles prints.
Yes.
They had there was a guy who did some amazing turtle art, so I got 2 different styles of the 4 main characters, and then I got the Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah.
And that guy's art was amazing. And then I picked up a Bruce Lee print.
Yeah. Alex Kotkin was the guy you got?
Yeah. Thank you.
And he was doing some great stuff. He's a comic book artist, I think, as well. I think he's worked, I'm not sure for which series, but I think he's worked for some like bigger companies. But his work is very good. I almost got a sketch from him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, his handler didn't think he should stop to give a pencil sketch while he was trying to finish up I think probably a larger piece that is I'm sure more money for him. And I totally understand that, because you know, those guys are paying their own health insurance and stuff. You know, I'm sure he would have been fine doing it, but if it's like, you know, that their time is valuable as well. So I was a little disappointed, but I understand why. But yeah, you got your prints from him. He seemed really good.
Yeah.
Really nice guy. There was a few other artists up there, but then we actually went down to Artist Alley, and that was just as crazy.
Yes.
I thought it might be a little bit lighter just because it's not the main floor, but there was a lot of people down there. I was hoping to get a few more sketches, but it was nearly impossible. Or everybody was either working on something already, or the amount of money they were charging was way too much and way out of my price range.
It was expensive.
Yeah. I mean, I get why they do it. New York Comic-Con is kind of like their Christmas. I'm sure they get tons and tons of like requests for stuff and characters, and it's like a constant flow of that. But saw a lot of great artists. I got a print myself, and a few other, like I got a sketchbook from a really good artist out there, Tony Fazula, who was selling sketchbooks. A lot of artists do that too. Like you'll see like a few guys. I was hoping to get like a Tim Sale sketch or whatever, but yeah, way out of my price range.
Yeah, he was a special kind of high price.
He was, and you know, well deserved. I mean, he's worked on a lot of stuff.
Oh man, like Spider-Man Blue alone.
Yeah, exactly. And then you know, The Long Halloween and all that stuff too.
Heroes. Yeah. Heroes season 2.
Yeah. Heroes. I think he did. I don't know if he did any artwork for that
Reborn or whatever.
Yeah. And I think that canceled really quick.
I think that was the fizzle.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to be like, oh, hey, there's a story about superheroes and stuff. Oh, wait, there's 20 other shows.
Remember that show that we destroyed in the 2nd season?
Yeah.
We're bringing it back.
Yeah, no writer's strike this time.
But it wasn't just the writer's strike.
Well, yeah. I mean, the writer's strike didn't help, but
you don't go. Like, the show should have ended in season 1.
Yeah, it really should have. It kind of had, like, a really good first season, and then I was just like, well, what are you building for in the 2nd season? It really didn't make sense. But yeah. But Tim Sale, cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of cool guys there.
Yeah. Oh, and I saw one of my favorite artists, Amy Reeder. She actually had come up with an ingenious way. I got my book not only signed by the writer for Rocket Girl, by the artist and the writer both there. She stamped it with a Rocket Girl stamp, which was awesome. It's kind of a sketch that she had done, and then she got it turned into a stamp so she could do it like quickly, you know, just kind of like, you know, for people who want to have, you know, a sketch kind of thing from her, which I thought was ingenious and for free. So
yeah, She seemed really cool.
She was really cool. She was wearing I think it was like a weird knit hat, because I think she is actually like big into knitting and crocheting. So that was kind of cool. And her writer, I'm Brandon. Really gonna kill me for that name, but he was really super nice and actually like talked to me for a while. I think I even lost track of you guys for a while that you guys had like gone on, but he like told me all about like the Rocket Girl stuff, if they were ever gonna do a sequel, like all that stuff. It was really cool, like really nice guy. So if you wish more artists were like that, but everybody else seemed kind of busy. But it was definitely cool to see like a lot of stuff they had. Saw a lot of Overwatch art. Saw a lot of Smash Brothers art.
Bowsette.
Like Bowsette is really kind of, and that's not something that Nintendo made up. It was made up by another artist, which is so strange. And I understand what the reference is, because it's something to do with the. I guess in one of the other Nintendo games, another character turned female or something like that. Like there was a male version, and then you could turn into a female version, and it looked like Princess Peach a little bit. So somebody had come up with, well, what would Bowser look like if he got turned female? It's really weird.
It's incredibly weird.
And not very safe for work. So don't...
Some of it.
If you're going to search it, know that you're going to see some very weird stuff. I actually searched it just like general, and I was like, oh wow, that's weird. And with Mario, and very weird. Okay. But,
strange, man.
Very strange.
People on the internet have too much time.
They do. And so speaking of video game stuff, besides New York Comic Con, new Assassin's Creed came out, Odyssey.
It did.
And you've been playing it.
I have.
And how do you like it so far?
I'm loving it so far. It's very much Origins 2.0, which a lot of people were saying beforehand.
Yeah.
I totally get it.
But Origins was good, so a 2.0 wouldn't be bad.
Origins was great.
But that was Egypt.
That was Egypt. Now we're in ancient Greece.
Right.
They added in more RPG mechanics, like choosing dialogue options.
Right.
And you can choose whether or not to help people. You can choose how to help them. You can choose to intimidate people. Like, there's different things. And those will have an effect so far on the story. Whether it's like an important effect or not remains to be seen. There's some stuff that I could definitely see if I'd have made a different decision, it would have ended completely different. Like, there was a character very early on who I chose not to kill, that you could totally kill. And that would, I'd imagine that'll either come back to haunt me or not.
Right.
But the same thing, there's one of the early decisions you make in the game is there's a town. The whole town looks like burned out. You go into it, in the center of it, and there's a priest, and he's got this family, and he's going to execute them because they have this sickness. I chose, this is a slight spoiler, but it's very early game, so.
Okay.
There's options. You can choose to help them, in which case, if you help the family, the priest attacks you.
Okay.
You can choose to let the priest execute them. Or you can choose, I think, just to walk away. I chose to help them. The priest attacked me. I killed them. And then the next option that came up was whether or not I wanted to give them money so they could go get a new place in the big town or not. And I left them there because the whole reason he was going to execute them is he thinks that they have this sickness.
Oh, okay.
Plague. And I chose not to give them the money so that the other people didn't get infected, but somehow I guess they left that town anyway, went to the big town, and now the entire island has this plague.
Oh, wow.
But if I'd have let him kill them, would they not have that plague? I don't know. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't. Like, the island would not have that plague because he would have succeeded.
And I wonder if that's part of history, though, as well. Like, maybe there's history behind that where that island got a plague or whatever, and maybe that's what happened to that population.
It could be.
Because there is a lot of like historical fact in this as well, right?
Loose historical fact.
Loose historical fact.
Things like characters like Leonidas.
Right.
Existed. The prologue of the game, you play as him.
Right.
So it teaches you the new fighting mechanics, which they've changed a bit. Now you have like cooldown abilities.
Which explain that. What does that mean?
So, depending on what you choose, you could have something like a shield bash.
Okay.
Where you knock a guy back, but it's on a cooldown, so it might be 5 seconds before you can do that again. Or like a stun move where you stab your sword into the ground and everybody kind of like flies backwards.
Oh, okay.
Or, you could have a bow, right, that shoots like 3 shots in a row.
Oh, okay.
Like a spread. Kind of like a Hawkeye deal,
Okay. That makes sense.
But they also use like a consumable like energy bar, we'll say. They don't call it an energy bar, and you earn that back by fighting or assassinating silently. And that's all. Like, the combat works great. The game is good. I can see why people... The big complaint I keep hearing is that it takes a while to level, and I totally understand that. Yeah.
You were saying, like, people had referenced that it's a lot of grinding.
It is. It's a lot of grinding to level. However, it's endless in that, like an MMO. It's the closest I can say to it.
Right.
There are perpetually new quests being generated because they're auto-generated. So you have your story-based quests.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have your NPC-based quests that are programmed.
Right.
Then you have your NPC-based quests that are random.
Right.
And then you have contracts.
Okay.
And the contracts, what they are timed events.
Okay. So it's like you have to kill this person by this amount of time or something like that.
And it's not in-game, it's real world. So you pick up a contract and you have 24 hours to do it.
Right.
So it could be sink 5 Spartan ships on your boat because they're sailing's back.
Okay.
Because Greece, I mean.
Yeah, it would make... You're on an island, it kind of makes sense that's,
Yeah. I mean, you got to have naval combat.
Yeah.
You're on a lot of islands.
The Athenians were known for their naval capabilities, so... And you said they're in this game, right?
They are.
Mm-hmm.
The other big thing they added was they have... You can side with Spartan or Sparta or Athens. I can talk.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a leader in each area. You assassinate that leader or take them out, and you have the chance to go onto the battlefield in a 300-style battle. There's like tons of people on the field.
Oh, wow.
And you can fight for whichever side you want to.
Okay.
Usually so far this is the case, so I doubt this would change, but whoever controlled the area at the time that you start that fight, if you choose to side with them, you get one epic or legendary item.
Gotcha.
If you side with the others group, so say Sparta's behind, you side with them, you get 2.
Okay.
But it's a tougher battle. So I've been doing that, but that's endless too, because you can just grind those battles and get cool gear. And the gear is levels, right? So you get like a level 20 drop sword. It's not going to be better than your 22. But you can upgrade. There's so much to do that I can see it be overwhelming. And I don't even know if I'm going to have time to finish it, because in now 12 days, Red Dead comes out.
Right.
And I'm going to get lost in the Old West.
Yeah. And talk about a game that has every aspect of a certain time period covered. It seems like the new Red Dead is pretty much that.
Rockstar is like every detail you can think of, they've thought of.
Yeah. They've really gone in depth on it. And I know that they have such a, like, when it first had started out, the Red Dead series was kind of like, it was a game that was being developed by another company that they bought. I don't know if they bought the rights to or what the whole story was, but they had the other company couldn't finish the game. They bought what they had done and then kind of made their kind of story out of it.
They probably bought their assets.
They bought their assets. I think they had the quick draw system, like all that stuff they had bought from them, and then combined it with some of the stuff that they had probably already developed from the Grand Theft Auto series. And it was open world-ish, but it was really more story-driven. There wasn't as much to do. Then Red Dead Redemption came out, and it was massive, huge amount of stuff you could do. This is even more than that, which I can't even imagine. Like, there's, you can start a gang, play games, get horses, train horses, and there's like 30 different types of horses. You can go hunting. There's hundreds of different animals you can hunt. There's fishing, like everything you can possibly do.
How about the fact that if you find an NPC and kill them?
Yeah. It influences other things in that area.
Well, they could also come back, like the family could come back later, just like in a regular Western, and come out for revenge against you.
Yeah, like the Hatfield and McCoy is kind of like feud kind of thing.
Yeah.
Very much so. So that's massive. But like you said, you're trying to finish up Odyssey right now.
I'll never finish it in time.
You don't think you'll finish it in time?
The rate I'm going, because I think I just hit level 21.
And you're trying to do like 100% of achievements.
I try and do, well, it's not even the achievements, because with Ubisoft games, there's always something stupid, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Syndicate, here's a great example, right? Syndicate, I tried the 100%. One of the achievements was hit 10,000 things while riding in a horse and buggy.
Okay.
No. Just no. 10,000? Are you kidding me? That's a lot of just riding around in a horse and buggy, bumping into everything.
Yeah.
Breaking the horse and buggy, because they break. They're destructible. And then getting another one, and then riding around, and then hoping that the cops don't get ticked, or other Templars don't get ticked.
Right. So, but does it have to be 10,000 different things?
Yeah. You can't just hit one thing 10,000 times.
Okay. Because then I was going to say, just keep running over back and forth in like one spot.
No, because they break.
Right.
So, let's say you bump into a fence.
Mm-hmm.
You break it.
Right.
You gotta hit something else.
Right.
It's gone.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
It's stupid. Stop it.
That seems kind of a random achievement.
Yeah, but I remember it because I remember thinking, well, this is not getting 100%ed.
Right.
But I still went, like, I did all the assassinations. Like, the best Assassin's Creeds are the ones where you still feel motivated to do everything.
Right.
Any open world game. Like, great examples, things like Far Cry 4 or 3, but I never did it with 3.
Right.
So 3 people say is the best game.
Right.
Far Cry's ever made. The reason 3 is not the best game is because their best villain, Voss, is dead within 2 hours of the game.
Oh, really?
I don't care. Whoever you are that you want to tell me I'm wrong about that, you don't take the big villain that's the most interesting character in the entire game, kill him in 2 hours, and then claim it's the best game. 4 had the best villain.
Right.
4 had the best reason to continue because the story gave you a little bit at a time, and it drip-fed it to you, but it remained interesting. 5 was good too. 5 was really good too. But you need to keep people motivated to come back. In an open world game like Grand Theft Auto, there's always a cool mission to do.
Right.
Right? And with something like Far Cry or Assassin's Creed, you know you're going to have to go somewhere. You know you're going to have to take somebody out. But how you do it,
right?
If you can keep it interesting, it works. I don't think they'll be able to do that with... I don't know if Odyssey will continue. Because so far all the missions have been really cool, but at what point... Because now I just found out that this is going to be a bigger spoiler.
Okay.
Not only do I have leader targets on each island, and, guards and things like that, but now there's another whole tier of targets that I have to take out. Okay. Which is this cult.
Right.
And the way I find out how to get the cult is I have to have investigated the person, another member of the cult. When I take them out, they'll give me information on the next member.
Okay.
And it's like, you think maybe 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a full screen of different heads in different areas, like in different groups, members of each sect.
Wow.
That's
a lot.
Yeah, and I played the game for like probably 15 hours.
Yeah.
And just encountered that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a bit much.
So this might be a year of me playing this game before I finish.
Yeah, but then again, if you get into Red Dead, who knows?
That's why it would be a year.
It would be probably a year because Red Dead is so massive.
Right, and there's things like I can just go rob a train in Red Dead.
Right.
Just goof off and have fun. Like, you can do things like that in Assassin's Creed, but Rockstar, they make them more interesting. So, things you'd never expect to be able to do. Tying somebody to the railroad tracks in Red Dead 1.
Right.
Redemption 1. Sorry.
Redemption, yeah.
I was like, oh my god, I can do that. Or I can just go on a bounty hunt.
Right.
Take somebody back. I don't have to take them back alive. I can do whatever. I can go on a gang hunt. They believe, I think, in their single player so much that the multiplayer doesn't even come out till the next month.
Which makes a lot of sense. Because by that time, I mean, the people that'll just quick playthrough, they'll just do the story mode. Will probably, you know, if they're not into the other aspects of it, or if they're like, you know, they finish the story and now they're just starting to do like the side missions and like the other things that you can do in the game, which are a massive amount of stuff. We'll probably want to do, you know, get enough skill to like kind of like, you know, play other players and see how like good they really are.
Yep.
Which makes sense.
I agree.
Yeah. So there's that. I don't know.
I'm excited.
So, and Red Dead is definitely a juggernaut. That's why I'm sure Assassin's Creed is released now, because they were like, you know, we're not going to go up against that open world game, and few people are. I'm sure that'll probably be like the number one game this year, because we're finishing up soon.
We will see.
We might have to do a yearly review. We'll have to review all the games maybe came out this year, and maybe along with that, like we'll do like a New Year's like movie kind of review as well.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, we'll do our like a top 10 games, top 10 movies kind of thing.
Oh god.
So, anything else that you wanted to say about Odyssey, or
just that it's really good, and I hope it continues to be so.
Yeah, and I think after this last New York Comic-Con, definitely have to go again. It might have to do it for a couple days. It was a lot. And I know Sunday is kind of like I think we had gone on I don't know if last time we went on a Sunday or not.
We went on a Friday.
Okay, we went on a Friday. But I had gone, I don't know if it was New York Comic-Con, but it might have been. I went on like a Sunday, and a Sunday is a little bit slower because it's kind of like the kids' day. So, and since it is like the last day of Comic-Con, there's not as many like panels and stuff. So I think that kind of like people who are doing, you know, Comic-Con usually want to do like the panels. They want to see like the new movie stuff. Like there was a lot of new trailers released, not just Daredevil. They released a new Aquaman trailer that had him in like the orange and green costume, like the classic costume. There was a bunch of other stuff too. I can't even think of it right now, but you know, How to Train Your Dragon, like all that stuff. But yeah, I think we're gonna have to do like a couple days just to like see if we can fit everything in.
Yeah, I'm maximum hyped.
Maximum hype next year. Who knows?
Oh
yeah. We missed Andrew Lincoln, Rick
Star of the
Grimes.
Walking Dead.
Yeah,
and you know, known for freeing the slaves.
That's right. Yes, Andrew Lincoln. That's what he did.
Yep.
Yeah. So, right now I'm in the middle of Inktober. It's day 14. I've actually surprisingly been able to stay on task with it. Usually by now I'm like trying to play catch up, but I'm actually doing pretty okay so far. So, if you want to check out my Instagram, it's @TimMartinek. And you can course, check out hashtag Inktober 2018 or Inktober, and you might see my posts like in there somewhere. A lot of like comic characters, TV characters. Today for day 14, I'm doing a Hellboy. Yesterday I did a day 13. I did a Raphael. I'm sure for Halloween I'll do something more Halloween themed for the 31st. But yeah, if you want to check that out. And of course, you can always find Bob at...
I'm on the Twitter at Martin, MARTON_Bob.
Yeah. And you were also on Instagram, too.
I am at Bob J. Martin.
Yeah.
I remember this time.
Have you posted anything lately?
No.
So no posts lately.
But I post on my Twitter.
Okay.
I'm going to start being, like, verbally offensive on Twitter just so I get more hits. And then I'll dial it back to, like, normal... silly pictures I take in games.
Okay. And as always, you can find us hashtag Precarious Pixels. We're on Spreaker and Stitcher, and you can find us on iTunes. Leave us a review, and of course our YouTube channel. It's all Precarious Pixels. All right, so that's it for this week. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
To do a little redesigning with us, you can find Bob at Martin. MARTON_BOB on Twitter, and you can find me on Instagram at Tim Martinek, all one word, TIMMARTINEC. And you can join in us, have some fun, do your redesigns for this week's redesign. It's a lot of fun for us to do this, but we like to see fresh ideas and fresh artists like doing what they do as well. You can also hashtag it Precarious Pixels and we'll find it as well.